I always do a little mixer dance. Ooh, I just got a little sugar flying in my face. Back home in Ohio, where I'm from, I think banana bread is probably so popular, it's its own food group. If you're nervous about baking and you want to try something new, give this quick bread a try. I promise you, you can do it. And when you do, your house is going to smell amazing and your friends are going to start to line up. Don't worry, you don't have to have a stand mixer to do this. You can totally do this with a hand mixer, or if you have nothing, you could do it with a wooden spoon and maybe a whisk. Don't let not having the right equipment get in the way of you giving this a try. So in my stand mixer, which I've had literally, I think for 10 years now, maybe even more. Oh my gosh, I think it's 13 years. I'm terrible with numbers. Anyway, it was so funny when I got this and I realized it was the bowl lift style. I was like so confused because every single one I had seen before went like this. So this one's a little bit stronger if you're looking to do a lot of doughs and things. So in the mixer, I have some butter, unsalted butter, 1 stick of butter. I have brown sugar, and we are gonna beat this until it is nice and fluffy. Let's get loud, let's get loud. I always do a little mixer dance. Ooh, I just got a little sugar flying in my face. So I start it slow and then I build, otherwise it'll fly everywhere. That is looking nice and fluffy. So now let's get all the dry ingredients together. I just have a bowl here with 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I like to mix everything just with a whisk. Sifters are just too much. I can't deal with that. It's just annoying. All right, so let's do the leaveners. We have some baking powder. We have some baking soda. Don't worry, everything is in the recipe, which is linked in the description. We also have some salt. When you're baking, I recommend using fine sea salt. It dissolves a lot better, and you actually end up with a little bit more salt per teaspoon than if you were using kosher salt or something that was a little bit thicker. So I'm gonna add that in as well. I love these little bowls for separating everything out. It's really, really helpful. I also like to add some warming spices to my banana bread. I find that if you don't add anything, it just kind of is missing something. So I have in here a little bit of allspice and also some cinnamon. And then, I love this thing, it's so ridiculous. This is my little nutmeg grater. And I'm just gonna grate about 1/4 of a teaspoon of fresh nutmeg. You can totally use ground if that's all you have, but I've got it, so I'm gonna use it. Now, I did a lot of research for this. I used to use a recipe that I can't even remember where it was from. I used it forever and ever and ever. And I just always was looking for something a little bit more. So I have about 1,000 cookbooks from, I don't know, the 1700s till yesterday. And in a lot of the older cookbooks, what they used was wheat bran. And they used more wheat bran than I've decided to use in this, but it really gives it this beautiful, nutty, rich, delicious flavor. And it also beefs up the texture a little bit more, so it actually does taste and feel more like a bread than like a cake. So this is a 1/2 cup of wheat bran. It's pretty easy to find in grocery stores these days. And what it actually is it's the hull that they take off to get white flour. So more nutrition and a lot more fiber. Now, I don't know about you, but when I'm baking, oftentimes I don't think so far ahead to get my eggs room temperature. So this is what I do. I just put them in a bowl of warm water, 10, 15 minutes, and they are room temperature. So I'm just gonna pour that out. Another little thing that I do with this is I just pop both eggs into a bowl. It's better than trying to do that over your mixer because you don't want any surprise shells. That will totally ruin your day. Another little thing that I like to do is add my vanilla. I've done it in the eggs, but I actually like to do it right into the bananas because it's just a lot easier. So I like to use vanilla bean paste. If you're using vanilla extract, you can absolutely just pop it into the egg mixture. I just find it easier because often I've forgotten it. So I just find it easy to just pop it all in with my liquids. This is vanilla bean paste, which actually use the same ratio. So I'm looking for a little bit over a teaspoon here. I don't ever get mad if I have a little bit too much vanilla. But this is from a company called Nielsen and Massey, and it's definitely way more expensive than vanilla extract, but I'm telling you, if you're going through all the trouble of baking, It's really worth it. It really is. All right, so I have figured out, I've tried everything for mashing bananas. And I've done like ricers, I've done potato mashers, and I've finally just decided it's just the fork for me. Just get the fork in there. So we want about 1.5 cups of ripe bananas. If your bananas aren't really ripe and you just want to give this a try anyway, you can actually just pop them in the microwave for a minute or two and it'll soften it. They won't taste exactly the same, but I'm sure it'll still be delicious. All right, so we're just gonna mix that up. And also, I find that the other ways that you can mash these, it makes it too small. I like to have little bits of banana kind of running through. I think it gives it a lot of nice moisture, and I love the texture that it gives it as well. So that's how I do it. But you know what? Do you, however you'd like. Now, you don't want to have this whole batter ready to go and then your oven is cold. So make sure your oven is preheated to 350. If you're using convection, you can do it at 325. We want to use a loaf pan. Now, if you're working with any kind of baking recipe and it is specific about the pan, this is what I recommend. You grab your trusty little ruler. I got this one from the hardware store. I love it because it's stainless steel, so I can just wash it. But what you're looking for is a 9 by 5 by 3 for this recipe. If you have a smaller one, it's gonna probably pop over and spill over, which I have absolutely done as recently as a couple of weeks ago because I was like, oh no, it'll be pretty, it'll be domed, and then it was just spilling over and crazy. So speaking of spilling over, another little thing that I like is a little quarter sheet tray. This has a rim around it, and then I just put some parchment paper down. That way, if anything spills over, I don't have an oven to clean. And to grease the inside of this pan, I just use the butter paper. This is a little tip that I learned from an amazing chef that I just adore. Her name is Chef Colette. And I worked with her when I worked teaching cooking classes, and I took every single one of her classes that I could because she is absolutely incredibly talented and I just adore her. So little shout out to Chef Colette and her awesome butter paper trick. You actually can just fold these up and put them in the freezer if you're not using them at the moment. And that way, when you need to grease something, you're good to go. You don't have to use a spray. The other thing that we're gonna do is we're actually gonna top this with 2 halves of this banana. With the mixer on low, add your eggs one at a time so they can incorporate, and then start adding your dry ingredients in about 3 additions. Smells so good, the cinnamon and the allspice and the nutmeg. Now add the star of the show, the bananas. Let's get this inside the pan. All right, so I'm just gonna spread this around. That's why this little offset spatula is absolutely a gift in the kitchen. I think I saw this on Instagram or Pinterest or something, but I saw it and I was like, that is brilliant. And what it is you just take your banana and you lay it inside like a little garnish. So I like to do the cut side outside. My sanding sugar. I love this stuff. So it's just a really thick sugar that is very sparkly. And then you just pop that on top. This is gonna go into the oven for about 1 hour to 1 hour and 10 minutes. I'll probably check it at 40 minutes, but I've made this several times and taken it out too soon. So I definitely wanna make sure that I don't underbake it because the whole thing will collapse. All right, our little baby is out of the oven. Oh, this looks so good. Oh my God, it smells like home. It smells like the warmest home you've ever been to. I absolutely love it. Oh my gosh. All right, everyone. I really hope that you give this recipe a try. Banana bread is a classic. Again, if you're kind of tiptoeing into baking, quick breads are a perfect place to start. I've got a link for the recipe in the description. If you want more easy baking stuff, please give me a thumbs up or leave me a comment in the comment section. But until next time, thank you so much for watching. Bye.